Alrighty, let's get into this and look at this doorstop. Hot diggity damn, that looks good. We just need to add that pull tab, which is going to come through and finish it off. Now, to mark up this pull tab, you're going to need a piece of leather, you're going to need a metal rule, and you're going to make it 1.5 centimeters wide, or in the woodworking world, 15 millimeters wide. Go ahead and mark that up and draw yourself a line going down that leather. That is 15 millimeters wide. Now, moving on from that, you want to come through and draw that line down. Now, for that, I'm going to use that metal rule. And I'm going to mark up a piece longer than 70 millimeters in length. So just make sure it's longer than 70 millimeters because the overall length of your piece is going to be 65 millimeters in length. So to go through, mark that up to 65 millimeters. And of course, add a dot at the end and then continue that line across. Now, with this leather, it is a bit difficult to see sometimes, so I'm hoping you're getting a nice solid view of that. From here, we're going to need to go through and cut that out. So you're going to need that baseboard or that scrap piece of timber underneath. You're going to need a piece of timber to rest up against the knife's edge, and the reason we're using that timber is, of course, so that we don't blunten the blade on metal. After aligning this so that you can actually see the 1.5 millimeter piece, just to ensure that it looks like it's going to be a square cut, come through, set that up, use that safety knife, making sure to not have your thumb or anything behind the piece, and pull back to give yourself that nice cut. You are going to have to pull back 2 or 3 times to make sure you're getting far enough across, and you are going to have to apply a fair bit of pressure. The leather does not like to be cut. From there, go ahead and finish that last cut off. Now, it doesn't have to be perfectly square for this, because the next step is actually going to remove that and add a nice little round edge to it, a bit of a fillet to it there. So that'll be nice and there. Always go through and cut off that excess. Don't pull it, because if you just yank it, it can actually tear the leather into an awkward spot. So you don't want to be leaving that there and pulling it. You want to use that safety knife or the Stanley knife and cut through. Always make sure that your fingers are out of the way, of course. After you've done that, you can fold that over and you can see how that's going to look on your project. And as you can see, that is a tasty looking little pull tab there. Now, let's get on to the next step. It's time to grab out 2 timber plates. Now, if you don't have these, it's easy to go through and make them up by getting some timber and just planing it down to 15 millimeters wide. That is the width of your leather. Now you've got both of those set up, it's time to fold your piece of leather in half, making sure that the bend in it is facing down the long ways of your timber blocks or timber plates. You're then going to put those plates together, like so, and you're going to grab some tape and an F-style clamp. Now, as you can see, you really want to make sure that that leather is placed very central for this and right towards one end. Grab that tape, grab that F-style clamp, and bring that along. Now, you could also do this in a vise, but I think the F-style clamp gives you versatility of allowing you to put some pressure on it and spin it around to clamp down that leather nice and firmly. After you've got that nice and firm taped up, you're going to grab that tape there, or clamped up, you're going to grab that tape there and you're going to come through and pull the tape as you're putting it on. You want to create tension in the tape so it creates its own little clamping system. It's a very handy little trick if you can't ever clamp something properly because of the way it needs to be clamped, or if you just want a very lightweight clamp. You're going to want to go through and add another piece right up the top of that leather so that it can't compress any further, so that the leather cannot move when we're sanding it off. Because that's right, we're going to go draw in a circle or a semicircle, and then we're going to sand to the line. It's going to be pretty easy, and it's going to give us a nice clean finish. After you've got that sitting on there nice and neatly like so, go ahead and get yourself that washer. Once you've got that washer, place that on top, right like so, and move it back approximately 2 to 3 millimeters. That's going to give you a nice 2 to 3 millimeter outline going around the whole thing, and of course go in and try and draw a semicircle, leaving yourself a mil or 2 from that washer, because you want to make sure that you've got some leather sticking on the outside of your washer when it's done. We'll leave that there for now, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Woodwork Experience.